Hey there, it's Lights Camera Jackson, and welcome to the first episode of 2025 of LCJ Live. Hey, that rhymes. It's LCJ. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here, and welcome to the start of the movie televised award show season. That's right. Tonight, the Golden Globe Awards. It's on CBS. I used to say it's on NBC because it was for so many years. But tonight, it's the Golden Globe Awards on CBS at 8 o'clock, hosted by Nikki Glazer. I will give some predictions slash analysis slash what in the world could the Golden Globes voters do. Of course, I used to also say Hollywood Foreign Press Association members. And sometimes they've made wacky decisions over the years. What's going to happen tonight? So many possibilities. We'll get to all of that here on LCJ Live. Happy New Year! Hope you're doing well. We got a lot to talk about today. Some positives, some sad news. We'll get to a lot of different things that have been going on in the industry and some fun as well. Some fun surprises here on LCJ Live. If you're watching live, thank you. Here on YouTube, send in your questions and your comments. Who you think is going to win tonight at the Golden Globes? Are you watching? Are you not watching? Did you see all the movies? Have you not seen some of the movies yet that you want to see? Some of them are still in limited release, like September 5 and The Brutalist, and Nickel Boys and Better Man, which all made a little bit of money this weekend in their limited releases. When it comes to nationwide, your number one movie, officially, finally, for a 3-day weekend, is Mufasa the Lion King. It's been battling with Sonic now for 2.5 weeks-ish, and it's been a back and forth battle. Sonic was winning the first 2 weekends. Mufasa won Christmas and during the week, and some New Year's battles and a lot going on for families. But Mufasa now wins this weekend with 23.8 million. It's at 168.6 for Disney. Yeah, it's down 380 million-ish from the Lion King from 2019, but it is rallying off of its low-ish opening weekend of 35 million. Now at 168.6, it's going to pass 200 million. And I think Disney's happy that it's finally on top for a weekend. Fanimator 101, the Sonic franchise, has crossed $1 billion. That is correct. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in second this weekend, a good second place for it. Another 21.2 million. It's at 187.5 domestically for Paramount. Just a couple million behind Sonic the Hedgehog 2, so it'll pass that as the biggest domestically of the trilogy, and it'll get over 200 million, maybe make a run at 225 or more. Going to be a great year for animation, says Fanimator. Absolutely. And guess what? Animation for 2024 fully animated releases, which does not count Sonic the Hedgehog 3 or Mufasa, fully animated films have crossed $2 billion domestically. $2 billion for only the second time ever. The other year was 2016. $2 billion bucks. You can thank Moana 2 for that. It added 12.4 million this weekend in fourth place, totaling 425.2 million domestically. It is the sixth biggest Disney and or Pixar animated film of all time, and it's the 8th biggest animated movie of all time. What are the other two on that list? Shrek 2 and the Super Mario Brothers movie. Shrek 2 back in 2004 still making 441 million, which adjusted for inflation is like $700 million, is still one of the biggest animated films of all time, and I think it's the oldest of the group. But there you go, Moana 2 did it. And yes, Sonic 4 is happening. It'll probably be out in a little over 2 years. And I think Paramount will be happy that this Sonic 3 is going to cross 200 million. Though I will say, could it have done a little bit more? Maybe. But you've got Mufasa. You've got Moana 2 money. You've got Wicked. Wicked in 5th this weekend added 10.2 million. It's crossed 450 million domestically, 450.8 million for Wicked, which could do very well tonight at the Golden Globes. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Squeezing in between 1 and 2 and 4 and 5, of course, is number 3, which is Nosferatu, added 13.2 million. It's at 69.4 for Focus Features. It's already the 4th biggest Focus Features movie of all time. I think that's correct. Now, Traffic, you could sort of add Traffic into the equation. It was an early precursor to what Focus Features would become. Traffic would be the biggest if you sort of did that. So it would technically maybe be 5th. But you still got Coraline, the Downton Abbey movie, and there's something else above Nosferatu. I'll pull it up here. My list of what I believe are the highest grossing Focus Features movies of all time domestically. Let's see. It's Downton Abbey. Now, Coraline, you could say, well, it's done like 120 million now with all these re-releases, and I'm still talking about the 75 million, which is still very good that it made in its original release back in 2009. Brokeback Mountain is the other film from 2005, so it's only behind a couple of films, which is really impressive for Focus Features. And it'll be really interesting if Nosferatu can pull out another 31 million bucks to cross 100 million, to be the 23rd film of 2024 to do that. Only a decrease of 2 movies from 2023. 25 films hit 100 million. So maybe Nosferatu does that to be the surprise 23rd film to do it, which would be nice. There were headlines this week that the box office was down a little bit overall, which is true. You had a few fewer films that hit 100 million, and there were other stats going on. But when you talk about animation having the second biggest year ever, you talk about this holiday season doing as well as it has. 2024 was strong. This last section of the year with all these blockbusters really helped. Also, for adults to go to some of these movies, I knew that A Complete Unknown was going to skew to adults, even with younger Timothée Chalamet fans, and be a good option for the holidays. And look at A Complete Unknown, another 8.1 million this weekend. It's at 41.7 for Searchlight, the biggest Searchlight Pictures movie since it was Fox Searchlight. Back in 2017 with Best Picture Oscar winner The Shape of Water and Best Actress and Supporting Actor Oscar winner Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Shape of Water also won director for Guillermo del Toro. So since those films, Searchlight hasn't had a bigger movie. And now it is A Complete Unknown, which is terrific. And we'll see if it can climb into the top 10 all-time for Searchlight. I think it's going to need another 10, 15 million to do that. And depending on what happens tonight, if Timothée Chalamet can win Best Actor in a Drama at the Golden Globes, set him on a path for award season, there is definitely a path for him to win, and I hope that he does. More people will keep going to see A Complete Unknown. Pete Crook's Shrek 2 was hilarious, one of the best animated comedies ever. One of the most influential animated movies of all time. You could argue, I think I put this out as a Twitter X poll at one point. What is the more influential animated movie? Is it the first Shrek or the second Shrek? Because the first Shrek was obviously making fun of Disney movies and fairy tales, and the second Shrek movie was so pop culture reference heavy. No one had ever done anything like this before in an animated film. And do you know how many pop culture reference animated films we have had since then? The influence of Shrek 2 is unbelievable when it comes to the voice casting, when it comes to those jabs at the entertainment industry. Shrek 2, which turned 20 last May, one of the most influential animated films ever. Pete Crooks also says, Lights did a great job lowering expectations for Nosferatu. I loved every minute of it. Just gorgeous. Took my dad, who also loved it. Well done horror. You liked Nosferatu more than me, but if you enjoyed it, good for you. It is nominated for 4 Critics' Choice Awards next Sunday, all in technical categories. I don't know if it could sneak into Best Picture. The box office helps. I'm not sure about Lily Rose Depp either. That Best Actress category is very crowded. But there you go. Nosferatu. Focus is thrilled with how much money it's made. I mean, Focus was thrilled with Conclave doing 31, 32 million domestically. Not many Focus movies have done that figure in the last 5, 6 years. And then here comes Nosferatu up to almost 70 million bucks. Number 7 this weekend, Baby Girl, which was even with last weekend. I believe it's the only movie on this list to either be even or an increase. Another 4.5 million for Baby Girl. It's up to 16.1 million. It's the 4th biggest film of the year for A24. And Nicole Kidman could win the Actress in a Drama Golden Globe Award tonight. But you have to remember 2 things. Number 1, she is not nominated for the Critics' Choice Award for Best Actress. And number 2, she just won the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Drama 3 years ago for being the Ricardos. That Golden Globe ceremony was not televised. A lot of people don't remember this, but Nicole Kidman just won the Globe in this category 3 years ago for playing Lucille Ball. She did not win the Oscar. That went to Jessica Chastain for Tammy Faye Baker, In the Eyes of Tammy Faye. So the fact that she just won 3 years ago, does that play a role into maybe Angelina Jolie or even Pamela Anderson winning tonight? There's some buzz growing for Fernanda Torres in I'm Still Here. I'm not sure Nicole Kidman is quite the lock or the frontrunner that many people thought she was just 3-4 weeks ago. Number 8 is Gladiator 2, which added 2.7 million. It's at 168.9. Denzel Washington has not won a competitive Golden Globe since The Hurricane nearly 25 years ago. He won the honorary Golden Globe, a Cecil B. DeMille Award, about a decade ago, and then was nominated for Fences. He's been nominated for Tragedy of Macbeth, Roman J. Israel Esquire, but he's not won in a competitive category in 25 years. Does that mean he pulls out a surprise over Kieran Culkin and Edward Norton and some others in that supporting actor category and win tonight for his avant-garde? I would call it an avant-garde performance of Gladiator 2 because it's basically Denzel doing whatever he wants. I think he basically said to Ridley, and Ridley said to him, do what you want. Deliver these lines how you would like it. Have the mannerisms and the aura that you have, and just do whatever you want. That's the kind of performance you get from Denzel in Gladiator 2. A film that, let's be honest, I watched Chocolat last night, part 2. I watched part 1 the night before for the first time, and that was nominated the same year as Gladiator for Best Picture. I didn't love Chocolat, I liked it. Same with Gladiator. There are aspects of Gladiator 2 I like more than the first Gladiator. And Denzel's fun. So maybe we get a surprise first category tonight, supporting actor, and the Golden Globe goes to Denzel Washington, and the place goes nuts, and we go, all right, we're in for a wild awards season. Pete Crooks, a complete unknown, could have been nominated for a musical since the entire film is about the incredible musical output of Dylan during those 4 years. A complete unknown has a lot of singing in it. And remember, Walk the Line was in that comedy musical category for the Globes many years ago. Joaquin Phoenix, Reese Witherspoon won. The film won for Best Picture, Comedy, or Musical. But the thing, it's changed in the years since about what really is a musical. For example, Bohemian Rhapsody is not a musical. Rami Malek won for Actor in a Drama because it's a movie about singing, but it's not breaking out into song. That's what Rocket Man is. Rocket Man was a musical about breaking out into song. And Taron Egerton won the Golden Globe for actor in a comedy or musical for that. The year after, Rami Malek won for Bohemian Rhapsody. So when you look at A Complete Unknown, it's not a movie about breaking out into song and original songs or adapted ones and dancing and crazy. It's about a musician performing, which is different than a musical, and Walk the Line nowadays would probably go in that drama category instead of that musical category. Wicked, it's the characters breaking out into song and their emotions and going crazy. It's not performances in front of a microphone. It's interesting. It's really interesting to think about. But the true definition of what a musical is in the eyes of the Golden Globes was the old-fashioned, always the big, breaking out into song numbers, your Mary Poppins, your Sound of Music. And other classic musicals, West Side Story. But then it evolved into putting the biopic into it. But now that we've had so many biopics that aren't full-on musicals, we've had that difference to split them up. So it's really interesting. So Complete Unknown is considered a drama, not a musical. Pete Crooks believes Kieran Culkin will win supporting actor tonight. He could, but didn't he just win for Succession? That's interesting. And Bob's voice, I watched Don't Look Back the other night. That's the Bob Dylan documentary from D.A. Pennebaker from 1965, and then I think it came out in 66 or 67, and it was really good. If you see A Complete Unknown, find Don't Look Back, watch that afterwards, because it takes place right before that final concert in Newport. Bob Dylan goes to England to do a bunch of shows, and it's really interesting, really compelling. Don't Look Back. I really enjoyed that. Glad, Pete, you liked that as well. I really enjoyed it. Number 9 this weekend is Homestead, which added $2.1 million. It's at 17.5, third biggest Angel Studios film of all time. And number 10 this weekend, The Fire Inside, added $1.2 million. It's at 7.1 for Amazon MGM Studios. Your same top 10 as last weekend. The re-release of Seven in IMAX did okay. Did 915,000, 45.75 per screen average, 200 theaters. The Seven re-release in IMAX, getting people going to the movies if they've already seen most of these for something else. Kraven the Hunter at 1.1. It's only at 23.7 for Sony. Oh my gosh. And a film called The Damned, which opened in about 700 theaters, did about $800,000. Okay, this week in theaters, you have some wide release expansions. You have Better Man, Hard Truths, and The Last Showgirl. Hard Truths is by far the best of those three. Marianne Jean-Baptiste is a Critics' Choice nominee, which I'm very glad, and she's really good. I hope she's up for the Oscar as well. Better Man, I didn't love. It's very full of itself. It's the Robbie Williams biopic musical because the characters are breaking out into song, and Robbie Williams is a chimpanzee. And then you have The Last Showgirl, the Pamela Anderson film, which I don't care for much at all. There's not a lot to the story. The performances aren't great. The dialogue. Dave Bautista tries, and I want him to be in more dramas, but the character's not well written. So yeah, the best of those three. Go see Hard Truths. And as far as completely new releases for 2025, Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. Gerard Butler, O'Shea Jackson Jr. I did not see the first Den of Thieves. I may see the sequel. We'll see how the week is going. I may see Den of Thieves 2. And if I do, I'll let you know on social media. I'm catching up with so many classics too. I watched Ghost, Ordinary People recently. A lot of films. I've been watching some classics in this in-between period before all the 2025 movies get going. The Critics' Choice Awards is next Sunday. I voted on Friday for the winners. Hopefully, fingers crossed for some films. Maybe A Complete Unknown does well. Maybe Marianne Jean-Baptiste wins. We'll have to see. The BAFTA long lists came out on Friday. Some interesting things when you look at who the final contenders are. The BAFTA nominations will be announced on... Oh, I thought it was this week. Is it not? No, I think it's the 15th. I think the BAFTA nominations are the 15th. Just a couple days before the Oscars. But this week, the SAG Awards nominations are announced on Wednesday. So that should be early in the day Wednesday. We'll see who's up for SAG. And then as a member of SAG-AFTRA, I get to vote for the winners of that starting in about a week and a half to 2 weeks or so. Podcast episodes. Go to lcj.podbean.com. Jeffrey K. Howard, the Vegas film critic, two-time Emmy winner, and I, we discuss the year in movies of 2024, the highs and lows. If you got 35 minutes today, go to lcj.podbean.com. It's a great conversation. Some of our favorite, least favorite films of the year, performances, surprises, disappointments, all of that. That's from the Family Feud game that I got for Christmas. Brand new. It's a lot of fun. You get the buzzer, so you get that when ringing in for choices, and then watch what happens as well. I'm gonna hit this. Hang on. Okay, and then watch this. If you say an incorrect answer, they give you that strike. Not on the board. That's pretty fun. So go to lcj.podbean.com for that. Tomorrow, there, as well as animationscoop.com, I talk with the makers of the new Disney animated series Stugo, which premieres Saturday night on the Disney Channel. So check out my conversation with the makers of Stugo tomorrow. And more animationscoop.com Q&As available now and this week with the directors of Oscar shortlisted animated short films for 2025. Check all those out. I've seen almost all 15 of them. They're really good. Some are dramatic, some are fun, they're innovative, they look great, they tell emotional stories. And I do Q&As with many of the makers at animationscoop.com. Pete, thank you for enjoying the Jeffrey K. Howard podcast. I had a great time with him. And Ordinary People, I appreciate. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10, but I appreciate what it does. I'm running low on time, so I gotta get to a couple other things. TooFast2Films.com. That is where you can listen to Mike Sargent and I. We name our 2 best and 2 worst films of 2024, plus some honorable mentions in all those cases of best and worst, and then some. And did Madam Web make either of our worst lists? Find out at TooFast2Films.com. We do about 13 minutes or so on those, and we have a good chat about them as well. I want to mention before we go the passing of 2 people who I knew and respected. One is Critics' Choice Association board member Jim Ferguson, who was on that board for many years, and he passed away the other day. And he would call me and all the Critics' Choice members every year to talk with us about the upcoming Critics' Choice Awards and some of our favorite films and performances of the year. I talked to him just 2 weeks before he passed. I believe it was the 17th. And I enjoyed speaking with him every year. We did it for probably a decade or so. And Jim Ferguson really loved the movies, and he really loved being a part of the Critics' Choice Association. So my condolences to his family and to the entire Critics' Choice Association. Also want to acknowledge the passing of Stephen Campbell. Stephen Campbell was a DVD store owner in Chatham, New York. He did that for 38 years, and he owned the DVD rental store called Video Visions. And I would see him every year for over a decade when I was in Chatham for the Film Columbia Festival, the Crandall Theater, at the historic Crandall Theater, which is getting renovated currently. And Stephen's health had been in decline for a couple of years. I believe the last time I saw him was 2021. Um, he loved the movies as well. He loved owning the DVD store. He loved the experience that people still had in enjoying renting DVDs, finding movies that they could not find on streaming services. I mean, that was big in the last several years of his life and of that business, was people coming to him and saying, hey, do you have this? And he did. He had thousands of DVDs in that store. And like I said, he did it for 38 years. There's an Inside Edition piece on him if you Google him, and Video Visions, and some other articles and short documentary films as well. I'm going to miss Stephen. I enjoyed every October getting to see him, chat with him about the film festival, the Oscar buzz, everything going on, and how he ran that store and operated everything. So my condolences to his family as well. The passings of Stephen Campbell and Jim Ferguson. Enjoy the Golden Globes tonight. It's 8 o'clock. Nikki Glaser, who I hope does a good job. Years ago, she was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Jimmy Kimmel, early 2020, early in the pandemic, and she had one of the craziest millionaire celebrity moments of all time, but also emotional and honest. And at that moment, I became a Nikki Glaser fan. Do I watch all of her comedy? No, she gets pretty raunchy, but as a person, I am a fan, and I hope she does a good job tonight. Fingers crossed. That's tonight, 8 o'clock. Ted Danson and Viola Davis get the honorary awards. We will be back here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern live. We'll talk about the Critics' Choice Awards. We'll see who's going to win. Again, I submitted my votes the other day. Maybe I'll make some predictions and some analysis, especially off of the SAG nominations this week and off the Golden Globe wins tonight. We'll see where things go for the award season. As always, go to X at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com, lcj.podbean.com, toofast2films.com, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the Globes tonight. Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time on LCJ Live. Next Sunday, we'll also preview some of the big movies opening for the 17th, like Wolfman and One of Them Days and Back in Action, coming to Netflix. That Jamie Foxx, Cameron Diaz film is finally going to be on Netflix. So we'll talk about all of that next Sunday. Enjoy the Globes. Have a good week. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching LCJ Live. Bye-bye.